How pleased were you with special teams this past week?
Well, in comparison to the previous week, obviously felt real well. The first week, I thought we played pretty sound, pretty hard. I thought we were prepared for the second game. We didn't play well. I give Penn State credit, but they took advantage of our errors. But last week, our kids came back. They fought back, and they were embarrassed, and they should have been, and I was embarrassed, and they played the way we expected them to play.
Pat was telling us yesterday he thinks maybe the key to Quadri's big start to this year is he's just he's not falling down as often. He thought he did that too often a few years ago when he rushed for 1,000 yards. He could have had 2,000. Is that what you're seeing from him too? Is just more light on his feet and making the right moves? Or
he was a senior now, and he was a freshman then, so freshmen do freshman things, and they all mature at different rates, and I'm glad he's playing well. I've got 3 guys that can play winning football, so I'm very fortunate for that. He's playing good football, so hopefully he can continue that throughout the season.
Did you expect he'd be that good this year and sort of take this job the way he has?
Well, he's worked really hard, and I've said this once before. He's probably the smartest player I've ever been around. He could probably play almost any position on the offense and be pretty much right all the time. So when you're smart and you can see things before they happen and anticipate things and know all the issues you have, what we call a certain play, then that allows you to be successful. And again, Hall is smart, and AJ he's getting to that point where it's fun having him around because you can have football conversations with him. You can talk about, if the line says this, then what happens? I mean, he can have a football discussion, and last year he couldn't. So I'm proud of him too.
Are Darren and AJ, they understand the situation too as far as how playing time is going to work?
Yeah, like I said, Hall's playing really good. I need to play Hall a little bit more, and because again he can bring a lot to the table. Take a little bit off Allison, because we got a long season to play. And I had a long talk with AJ. Of course, he's disappointed because he's not playing as much. And I said, look, dude, next year when you're the oldest guy in the room. By the way, I said, who's going to be the oldest guy in the room next year? And he goes, you are. So I said, next year when you're getting the majority of the rep, it's going to be Michael who's going to be upset. So those guys have seen a lot of things, and they played Georgia Tech, they played North Carolina, so they know what to expect.
Michael got a little bit of playing time the other day. Did he show something in practice last week?
Yeah, we just we got those 4 free games, and so we've got kind of a tentative plan. Get those guys get their feet wet, and you never know. 2 weeks down the road, someone could twist an ankle, someone could pull a hamstring, and so just get them in the game, get them a little feel, and just let them grow slowly.
Smuggled him out there in number 26.
Well, you know what? That was an error on our part. He was number 7.
Mm-hmm.
And preseason, when we get the roster, I go through and make sure there's no duplicates. And preseason, Stalker was number 43. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a second. So we got the same scenario this week because Sibley's number 23 and so is Adawu. So we got to get that fixed before we get to Chapel Hill too.
Coach, it seemed like you've had a lot of success this year on misdirection plays, counters, traps, and how's that a product of the way the line's playing and also your guys being patient and letting those plays develop?
Well, we set them up. A lot of it is with the motions.
Mm-hmm.
They're chasing those jets, and the line blocking is pretty simple, but it's always that safety that's filling, that's hard to get a hat on. And when he's chasing a jet, if we're running a jet, that's fantastic for them. But if he's chasing a jet and we're running another play, then it's not so great for them. So, that's just a part. We set plays up and we do things, try to take advantage of the defense and those types of things.
They only have 2 games on tape, but what have you noticed in Carolina's defense?
They look like the same Carolina defense I've seen for the last 22 years. They're big, they can run, they can play. So it hadn't changed. Good Carolina football team.
Is that Wildcat something new you guys have wanted to use more, or has that always kind of been in the repertoire and you just decided to use it
we've got a big offense, and we pick and choose when it fits. and sometimes it doesn't fit, and we'll see if it fits Saturday. Who knows?
You mentioned Sibley. Might we see a little bit more of him? I mean, I know he's been waiting his turn, got banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
What's his status?
I think Sibley's going to have a good contribution with special teams. Starting out, let him get his feet back under him, and he's in all the meetings and he gets reps at practice. And I'm not going to take Allison and Hall out just to give Sibley reps because he's got a nice haircut. I mean, he's just got to get his turn when his turn comes up.
Not as good as James Conner's haircut these days, though.
No comment.
You got Paris involved in the return game a little bit. Didn't get the return one, obviously. But
Yeah.
what were you looking to see from him if you wanted to give him that opportunity?
Georgia Tech had a good punter, and last year he had the tendency to out kick his covers. That gave us a chance. So going into the game, you get statistically you get 1.2 returns a game, and the other day we got none, right? And the week before we got one, and we got a penalty. And the week before we got two. One was a 3-yarder, one was a 30-yarder with a penalty. So you get one. So we knew we're going to get mostly fair catches, and we just wanted to get him in the game, let him catch the ball in the crowd, and let him operate there. And we got plans going down the road how we can use him in certain situations.
Noticed your return guys today were working on stuff along catching balls along the sideline. Is that something situational for UNC, or just something you need to?
That's something that I've neglected, really. We talk about all those scenarios, but you got to practice those scenarios. I mean, we had a scenario earlier in the year where we made a fair catch and the ball hit the ground, and again, we got to practice all those scenarios and not talk about them. We got guys back there that's never been the return man until this year, and that's something that I neglected to do. I did it, but that's what we're doing. We try to get every scenario possible practice, and you can practice every possible scenario that comes to mind, and next year there'll be 4 more scenarios that you never thought of. So that checklist just gets bigger and bigger every year.
Go back to Quadri for a second. Do you feel like he's running it all like Connor did when he was here? I know he was kind of his mentor in that running back room. Do you see any?
No, James did so many subtle things. Allison is just the thing that we've made a big emphasis of is extending the play, and he's done a much better job at that. And James did that too. But James, most people wouldn't even notice, but James does so much stuff with his offhand. He's using that hand to push off and club and do all those things, and so I wouldn't say he's similar to James. I mean, he's his own guy, but he's extending plays, and that's what we're trying to get done.